a small use case that what we see is that let's take a device which is deployed like a PLC or an RTU that is deployed in a critical infrastructure environment or a manufacturing facility. Now, each of these things go through a process of validating the existing risks and vulnerabilities. What are the security controls that are currently provided against, starting with the basic cyber hygiene? Does it meet the basic security controls that it has? What if the vendor or the manufacturer has already stopped the support or sale on this? They have already issued an end of life. How do we adhere to some of the new risks that are coming out of these kind of devices which do not have any more support? So do we elevate the risk acceptance? And then if we do, then what monitoring controls we have so that we don't miss out on some of these things? So that is then giving us the ability to provide the framework for a deep assessment. So constantly monitoring what's going in both the ingress and egress points of data from thousands of such devices that are connected across your infrastructure, exchanging the data with your traditional IT network, gives a deep visibility into managing this across robust through a robust template, and also with respect to the vulnerability remediation based on the device fingerprinting, based on the characteristics that each of these equipment devices provide, and how it is categorized in in the security store, and also how does the maturity evolve based on the controls that we implement, is what the first set of controls should look like. And this is one of the use cases where we have identified three main areas, where we start with identifying some of these devices, the visibility, mapping which part of the network they belong to, and then highlighting underlying risks, vulnerabilities, and then putting it all together, and then creating a profile or a contextual template, which can then be referenced at any given point of time. Once built, that becomes easier to continuously monitor it. So that looks up, different areas of how and what controls that we build. So these include the technology vulnerability, like your CVEs, CVSs, the overlay network, so overlaying the models on the risks that are identified and mapping them one to one and seeing how this can be either remediated, mitigated, or accepted. And then what kind of scores that we see beyond based on this is something that is critically done for this kind of an ecosystem. And also further enhancing it, while we have the visibility into it, we don't stop there. So we constantly enable monitoring. We build early alerting, which means that if there is somebody trying to even install a downloader or maybe a malicious scan that is happening on this, which could be a remote code injection that is, that may sit dormant for months in the network and then study the other parts of the network, is where the early alerting becomes helpful. And then the security leaders who are very concerned about some of these devices exposing information about the infrastructure network can use these early alert monitoring and then enhance a least privileged or zero trust based frameworks. That what kind of access can these devices have? Do I need to isolate it? Do we need to quarantine it? So there are multiple different controls that can happen. And then responding to these attacks, the latest stages of investments that companies are making is not just having a full network segmentation strategy, but also micro-segmenting their network. Each and every payload needs to be controlled as to how this information is flowing from point A to point B in the network. How do I control it? Who has the access to it? And also, do I have any playbooks that can help us integrate it with our centralized security monitoring, events monitoring? I can integrate it with my SIM that I'm already using, or a source solution that I'm already using, or an EDR which I'm already using. But most importantly, the data that is received, the alerts and information with the mapping that is received, is going to help them achieve those higher level of certification requirements and maintain those advanced maintaining those advanced stages, which can help the companies to not just adhere to some basic compliance techniques, but also look at it holistically and build a mature cybersecurity model is one of the small use cases which I wanted to share uh, with this. But as part of what we see in the industry, and also as part of what we see with our customers, we constantly look at two main aspects of it. So usually we work with our customers to build these overall cybersecurity maturity program and also build a plan of action, conduct threat assessments with the security requirements mapping what we see in some of these standards, and then provide you or suggest you what are the best ways to staying compliant, enabling controls, or even beyond that, if you're looking at specific IoT, OT security platforms, looking at IT and OT integrated or a converged network platform is something that definitely happy to talk about. Thank you.